Hi guys, so this is going to be an analysis of my 10th and 11th races. These were both from last week, so a bit over a week ago for the first one. But yeah, still something to learn from it. So have a look at the data file and see what we can see. Yeah, so the first one was a race again at Tameside, this place in Manchester that I'm planning on going to pretty much every week for 12 weeks. So yeah, really get to learn the circuit. Even if it's not my favourite circuit, it's very narrow, very twisty turny. Feel like it's really hard to make moves. Like if I can learn to race well on that circuit, I think it'll put me in a really nice position for racing on any circuits really, or out on the road. So that was on the Tuesday here. And then on the Saturday, I had a 10-mile time trial that I'll also have a look at as well. So diving into the crit race. So yeah, it was a Cat 234 race. So it's the highest level races I've been taking part in so far. And yeah, field was decent, but it's manageable. I'm able to hold on. I'm typically at the back of these races, just because even if I find myself moving up, generally people will squeeze past in different sections, and so long as I'm keeping contact on the back, like it's not ideal because it's a lot hard if you're wanting to make a move. You've got to go all the way around the field basically, which is sometimes possible when they sit up a little bit. But if it's getting strung out, and that can be a lot more difficult to do. And I know from last week, from a couple of days ago when I did it, splits can happen. For the first 2 weeks, there was pretty much all stayed together, whereas it can get ripped to shreds if there's some stronger riders there. So I got away with staying in the pack this week, but yeah, like I said, the next week it was a bit of a different story. So yeah, good workout on the day. So it's a 55-minute crit, 40 laps, 356 average, 382 normalized. To be honest, I wasn't super with it during this race. Like I say, I was kind of on the back. I was been moving forward a little bit, but just like interchanging position with the guys who tended to be at the back. And I felt like I had a few opportunities where I had the ability to make an attack, but I'd either just decide to sit on and bail on the attack, or the door might get closed. So because it's a 0.9 kilometer circuit, so it's a very short circuit with lots of turns. You got the hairpin, these turns here, and then the chicanes. Obviously, you've only really got the most straightforward places to move up, are these straight sections here. So because we're going in this direction, this straight section coming to the left, that's typically got tailwind, so it's a bit faster. So the typical section where I find myself moving up is into this headwind section, this straightaway here. And there'd be times where I'd be trying to make a move, and then someone might close the door on me a little bit, so I'd have no space to get round, and so I'd end up just moving up places rather than sending an attack off the front. So yeah, I basically found myself just swinging at the back for most of the race, really. You're still having to work really hard to keep contact, so you come to such a slow speed at this hairpin here that you just need to sprint out of it over 1,000 watts every lap. Like if I just pull up some random section, like what was it, 1,000 watts, 1,000 watts, like big spikes constantly. So you definitely get fit from doing that, but I found that it's so much easier when you're close to the front. You don't lose as much speed through the hairpin because it's this trickle down effect. But like I say, it's difficult to move up and then hold that position, as everyone's trying to get around you at every possible opportunity. Um, so yeah, basically just found myself at the back most of this race, and then I think it was 4 or 5 laps to go. I had an opportunity to attack on this finishing straight here, and I just launched an attack. See where it is. Might have been last few laps really. Might have been this attack. I think it was this attack here. So yeah, I think it was about the attack itself was 1,000 watts for about 10 seconds. So yeah, 11 seconds just down this straightaway here. So big attack, and that was able to take me from all the way from the back of the field to the front. Just conserved speed through uh, out of this corner, launched it out the corner, and then just kept going past the peloton and able to get a gap off the front. Now I think I got some sort of separation, but it in the last few laps of the race, like you've got a very motivated peloton, so I ended up stringing it out. I think for the last 3 or 4 laps, just riding on the front. I was riding hard to hopefully just try and get away. A couple of about a lap and a bit in, I realised that I was just stringing out the peloton rather than having separation myself. Um, um, but yeah, it was worth an effort, and I was very glad that I went for that attack, because the plan going into this race was, hey, a breakaway can work on this circuit because of how the corners are and about how much speed the peloton loses and has to work so hard out of this hairpin. Whereas if you're off the front by yourself, you get to pick your own line and you can take such a better line through this hairpin and conserve much more energy. So I was pretty confident about. I wanted to try a breakaway, so I was glad that I was able to do this attack. Now in hindsight, I'd have liked to be up there during the race, so mid pack, closer to the front, so that with the energy I spent during this race, so doing 356, 355, 356 average, and 380 normalized for an hour, like I should be able to make more attacks than I did. Like using that same sort of energy, I probably could have sent like 3 or 4 attacks off the front rather than just the one Hail Mary attack at the end. And if I've done and like commit to those attacks that I do, um, so if I do four solid attacks during the race, there's a good chance that one of them's going to snap the elastic rather than just one at the end when everyone's motivated for the finish, and it's very hard to get away. So I was happy with how I raced it, but with the move I made. But the key is going to be making more of those moves to have one hopefully be successful. Because ultimately, even though it was a strong attack, it wasn't able to stay away. So I think I was riding on the front for 3 or 4 laps, sort of thing. So 5 minutes at 420 average, still having to sprint out of the corner, the hairpin. Well, sprinting out the hairpin to make the peloton work hard behind you, but keeping the speed high and it honest. And I think I was stringing out the peloton, and then one lap coming through the finishing straight with 1 lap to go. I'm pretty sure it was with 1 lap to go. The peloton came past me at speed, and that speed differential, I wasn't. And I'd been working hard on the front. I wasn't able to just slot back on. Basically end up out the back of the reduced peloton. But because we'd been working hard the whole race, like we had ripped the peloton to shreds a little bit. There were a lot less people in contention at the end. So I did end up coming 13th on the day. So it wasn't that far out of a top 10. And if I'd been I don't know how much I reduced the group by leading it out on the front. So in hindsight, you could have just stayed in the pack and counted your chickens in the sprint finish and maybe got a couple of points with a top 10. But maybe there was 20 riders before I strung. I think that's a bit bold. I probably didn't reduce the group that much, but I was happy to just make an effort, and I wanted to give it a go. So it was definitely hard to get away on the day, but the key is just recognize being up there for attacks, and there's going to be times where the peloton's not motivated, and you can send an attack like that that's going to get away. So just recognizing those opportunities and taking them when they're given to you, rather than, like I say, there was some other points in the race where I felt like I had the opportunity to make a big attack, and I kind of just bailed on it. Whereas if I'd gone for that attack, maybe that one went clear. Maybe everyone started looking around. I'm not chasing that. Key is just going to be attacking, and using my power to actually make some moves that could result in the win. So it wasn't the best race, but I was really happy with that one attack I did. This is going to be an analysis of race 11, so the 10-mile TT that I did the same week as the crit, and yeah, it had been about 4 or 5 weeks since my previous 10-miler. This is actually meant to be a 25-mile TT, but because of roadworks on a motorway that runs alongside the course, the turnaround for part of the 25-mile course would have been absolutely disgusting. So they decided to move it to the 10-mile course, so we didn't have to use that turnaround, which is probably a good idea, to be honest. So yeah, it was back doing a 10-miler, and I wasn't expecting my power to be really any different to the previous race, but I'd done a huge amount of work reducing my frontal area by really changing the position of the cockpit on my TT bike. So I was pretty confident in my CDA was going to be better, even though this was actually a harder course than the previous 10-miler I've done. Like, it's definitely a rougher surface, and they're both pretty exposed, but yeah, it was windy on the day, but it wasn't like terrible, and the place in Hull can still catch some nasty gusts of wind. So I think it's mainly just the road surface being quite rough and a bit jolty at times. Like within the first minute or so, I thought that I might have had a rear puncture, because I'm like, God, this is rough, because I'd smacked some rough bits of road or potholes, but thankfully I was all right for the duration of the event. So yeah, first ever sub 20 under the belt, so I was happy with that. 380 average power. So I think I did 385 back in Hull 4 weeks ago. So slightly down on the power, but doing a decently better time. So the official time was 1950 compared to my 2008 the previous time trial. So 18 seconds, but like I say, it's a slower course, this one, and maybe worse conditions on the day. Yeah, the conditions on the day for the whole race not as bad, and like I say, it's just generally a faster course. So slightly less power, harder course, and faster time. So that told me that, okay, the positional changes I'd been making were making a difference, which was really nice to see. So yeah, it's a very untechnical course. There's no nothing, no special requirements really. You're just trying to hold constant power on the way out and way back. Now, I guess it was a slight cross tailwind on the way out, mainly just a crosswind, which is preferred for sure. But it's maybe a slight headwind on the way back. So I didn't burn all my matches on the way out, and I definitely saved something for the way back. I think I had about a 10-watt differential. So yeah, got out hard, obviously. First 500 watts for 20 seconds, peaking at 800, like it's decent. And then just settling in after that, just settling into tapping out a rhythm, probably 370, 380. So averaging like 380 on the way out, which is good. But the heart rate is getting up. It's getting up there, but it's not at my max heart rate. So I'm working hard, but not on the limit. So surviving all right. Able to bring down my cadence slightly, not spinning out at 110 RPM constantly. Yes, I do spin a lot, but getting it close to 100, which is probably a bit better. So yeah, then the turnaround, and out of the roundabout, launch it again. Not as big a surge, as you're already carrying some speed, but you do want to surge to try and get up to speed faster. So obviously, when I'm in position, I'm not really looking at the power. I'm glancing at the power just to see that it looks all alright, checking its high 300s, 400 sort of thing, dancing around 400 really. Not so much today. Maybe the previous time I was dancing around 400. Not so many 400s. Not seeing so many 400s here. But yeah, I'm not looking at power as much. I'm just glancing at power and heart rate really, and mainly I'm looking at speed as. And obviously to do a 25 a sub 20, you need to be going 48k an hour plus. So I'm just checking it's 48. If it gets to a section where my speed's dropping, so yeah, here getting down to like 45, that's when I'm realizing, okay, I need to dig in to keep the speed high, because just keep it close to 48k an hour for the duration of the ride, and that's going to put you in the best stead of doing a sub 20. So yeah, like I say, on the way back, so average about 380 on the way out, closer to 390 on the way back. So save something in the heart rate, getting up to that max heart rate. Cadence a little bit higher. Several overtakes on the way. So I obviously knew I was moving well. And yeah, came through the finish. Stopped my Wahoo just under 20 minutes, despite starting my Wahoo 10 seconds before I start. So yeah, I knew I was comfortably under 20 minutes. So that was a good confidence boost, and now it's just going to be hopefully continue to refine the position to improve my CDA. As I'm not really focused on the main purpose of these early season time trials is going to be working on my position, as I'm not concerned about the power really, as I know that I'll be able to produce my peak power come the summer for the CTT Nationals. I know the power will come with time, so it's doing these time trials to make sure that I'm improving the position so that I'm getting the most out of my power really. And like I say, I'm pretty confident that this was an improvement in my CDA from the previous weeks. So previous weeks I was looking at the previous time trial I did, I was looking at probably a 0.23 CDA, and then for this week I'm looking at closer to 0.215, so a solid reduction. I'm aiming to get it under 0.2, ideally something close to 0.18, but we just have to see if I can manage that. So based on the performance, so getting that 10 mile time, and the rolling distance of GP 5000s, but I'm going to be moving to course of speeds now, and it's the same from the CDA calculator, 0.216. So yeah, a solid reduction in CDA, but definitely work to be done. And yes, it's course to course variability as well. So it's a real estimate. It's a grain, take it with a grain of salt, pinch of salt. And like I say, I think this course is a fair bit slower than Hull. I mean, look at the KOM. I mean, it's held by Ben Turner and like just under 19 minutes. So for a fast course, you're looking at solidly just under 18 minutes. So just under 19 minutes for the KOM shows it is a difficult course. So Ben Turner, he hasn't got power data, but Connor Swift has power data for this ride. Where look at that, not even his official time wasn't even sub 19. I'm 40 seconds off. I was 40 seconds off this time. Obviously different day, but the power that he produced is absolutely bonkers. So he averaged like 440 for this for the ride. So yeah, 439, 440 is absolutely bananas. So it just shows that it is a hard course, and I'm hoping that the fact that I was able to do a really good time on this course means that I go back to Hull actually next week. I'm hopefully able to, even if my power and CDA are exactly the same, I should be able to set a nicer time, and then that's a better time going into CTT Nationals, where you want to set a better qualifying time so that you're placed at the back end with all the fast riders. But yeah, I was very happy with the performance, and yeah, got a couple of 25 milers coming up, as this was meant to be my first 25 miler, but obviously circumstances meant the course changed on the day, which is fine. I've got a couple of 25 milers to work towards, and learn how to pace those before nationals, and yeah, just hopefully continue to improve my my ranking, all that stuff. Just shows that I'm getting better over time, you know. And then have a really good ride in the summer at nationals. So